We are live on FAU Owl Radio on YouTube at Flagler Credit Union Stadium in Boca Raton, Florida for the FAU Spring Game. I'm Maddox Greenberg. Joined alongside me is Morgan Larkins. This is the first year under a new administration as head coach Zach Kittley will be looking to show the FAU fan base what the team has been working on during practices and what places that need to be improved. The format style for the spring game will be offense versus defense for the first three quarters, with no score being kept. The second and third quarters will have a running clock, and then the fourth quarter will have a red zone period between the offense and the defense with an announced scoring system. There are some new additions for the Owls this season, being led by new starting quarterback Caden Veldkamp, a Western Kentucky transfer who played in the Boca Raton Bowl last December. Morgan, what are some positions that you think need to be improved before this upcoming season?
Yeah, there are a couple of positions that I could talk about here. Who's going to come out on top at wide receiver? We have Easton Messer, who is the former teammate at Western Kentucky with Caden Veldkamp. But then you also have J.R. Wilson from Virginia. And you also have some veteran guys from FAU themselves, like B.J. Alexander or Jay Sean Platt. But when you head over to the tight end side, none of the players really have had a lot of experience. Reed McKeska from South Carolina is probably the most promising because he's from a Power 4 program. And then you also look at the offensive line, which last year dealt with a lot of inconsistencies and also injuries. So being able to be more consistent and be more healthy for that group is going to be vital for next season.
Mm-hmm. We're moments away from the start of the 2025 spring game. We'll have coverage for you when we return. For Morgan Larkins, I'm Maddox Greenberg, and you're listening to FAU Owl Radio on YouTube. back here on FAU Owl Radio on YouTube. Maddox, Greenberg, Morgan, Larkins, Spring Game, and the handoff from, that would be from Caden Veldkamp, hands the ball off to his running back. That was, I believe, Xavier Terrell for a 3-yard game here in the Spring Game. We're over onto the left side of the field and the catch caught to number 12. That is, I believe that was number 12.
I believe that was number 19, Dominic Henry.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, number 19, Dominic Henry. Game started quick here. Owls offense in the red with the quarterbacks in black and the defense all in white. They're moving from offense moving from right to left. Veldkamp with a handoff, steps back, looks right, looks off, throws into the area of his receiver. That'll be number 82. Jabari Smith. That was in the direction, but stopped by number 25 on the defense, Mike Wright III. And it's 3rd and 4. This is the offense versus the defense. A punt will be made by Nick Salmon, the Australian, into the hands as he steps back for a fair catch signal. That'll be Easton Messer, the transfer from Western Kentucky, and the ball will be placed at the 10-yard line, off to the left side of the field, and back to offense against defense. Now the offense moving from left to right. New head coach Zach Kittley, the offensive coordinator, and the head coach for FAU, going against the defensive coordinator, Brett Dewhurst. Veldkamp hands the ball off to his running back, goes left and tackled by a swarm of white jerseys. That was a handoff to 23, Jamari Sands, the redshirt sophomore from St. Thomas Aquinas. Veldkamp with 2 to his right, 2 to his left, takes a snap, steps back, looks right, check out, looks off, throws, and catches it. Is number 10. Check that, not number 10. I believe that was to his receiver, Jabari Smith again. Runner behind. Veldkamp hands the ball off. Runs to the right and gets tackled over at the 18-yard line. That was again to Jamari Sands.
The rush defense for the Owls have looked pretty good on this drive and the last drive as well. The offense has not been able to get going at all.
With a runner to his left, 2 to his left, 1 to his right. Veldkamp takes his handoff, looks left, looks right, runs, rolls over to the right, and is out of bounds as he tries to go over to the direction of number 87, Tamez Young, the tight end, a freshman from Wharton High School, a Tampa native. Third and 6, ball on the 24-yard line. 12:06 to go in the first quarter of the spring game. Offense versus defense. Offense in the red, defense in the white, quarterbacks in black. Crover, check that, not Crover, Veldkamp, still behind center, 3 to his right, none to his left. Steps back, looks left, throws into an open receiver down the middle, and that is to number 8, Eston Messer, his teammate over at Western Kentucky. Both of them transferred over during the offseason. Ball's now at the 36-yard line. A quick handoff as runs to the left and tackled. That was to Tremont Underwood Jr. 11:22 to go and counting. Remaining scoreless. 1 to his left, 2 to his right. Running back to Veldkamp's left. Snaps the ball. Fakes a handoff. Looks left. Goes in the direction of his receiver and tackled. He was tackled by Cameron Goggins, and that was to, I believe, number 9, Caleb Coombs. Coombs, a Marshall transfer in his second season with the Owls, the senior. Now 3 on top of each other. 2 Veldkamp's right, 1 to his left, the running back to his left, and receiver goes in motion. That would be number 83 for the offense. Michael Calix, the freshman, and Morgan, he kind of a little bit stumbled under pressure, trying to get his first snap in the game as a freshman receiver. Kind of nerves got to him. Moves a little bit before.
You're really starting to see Kittley's air raid offense right here. The run game hasn't been able to get going, and since they've been airing it out, they've been moving down the field.
Veldkamp throws over to the receiver, and a drag route tackled by 2 Owl defenders. They'll start at the ball's now at the 41-yard line. That was to number 87, Tamez Young again. And now special teams unit comes on the field as receiver number 11, Assad Wasim, the Colorado transfer in his first year for FAU, out in the backfield at the 15-yard line on the right side of the field. So Nick Sammon will be punting from left to right. Here comes the punt. So it's high in the air, fair catch by Wasim, and the offense will start at the 22-yard line off to the right side. And Morgan, with this format, it's offense playing against defense, and after defense gets an offensive stop, the offense comes back onto the field. How does that impact the players getting worn out a little bit this early on? Because typically in actual games, once the defense turns the ball over, it's not the same offense coming back out. It's a different team. So how does this impact the offense?
Well, yeah, it's definitely going to be a lot tiring, but I know that you're not supposed to go all in at spring football practice, make sure no injuries happen. But it also looks like they're using other different players. So, for example, running backs keep switching in and out, so you're not having the same players every single snap, every single down. Which can kind of be like a real life game where of course you're getting some rest. So them going deep in the depth charts, using Jamari Sands, using Xavier Terrell, Shields Dutton, my apologies, using those multiple running backs is going to be giving the other running backs rest, and it's like an actual rest during a drive. And
it was a handoff from Veldkamp to Jamari Sands for a 4-yard gain. Empty backfield. Veldkamp, quick throw over to the left side to his receiver. That would be J.R. Wilson Jr., and that would be a first down for the offense. 8:30 to go and counting as they move the chains up to the 35-yard line. 3 check that, two to his right, two to his left. Running back on the left side of Belkamp. Looking like a blitz by the defense. The running back moves over to the right side for Belkamp. Belkamp takes a snap. Looks over to the right, left, throws. Caught by number 13 for FAU, Martavius Collins, the redshirt freshman UTEP transfer. 3rd and 15. 7:38 to go. Ball at the 41-yard line. Check that, 2nd and 4. Belkamp hands the ball off, fakes it, throws down the middle over into the inseam. That is 2. Easton Messer at the 10, at the 5. Touchdown. The Owls offense. That'll be 6 points for them. And Messer celebrating with his offensive line. That was, I believe, about a 60-ish yard touchdown run. And Belkamp quickly found Messer right down the seam at the Owl logo in the middle of the field. And then Messer just kept going.
These wide receiver transfers right now, of course, we saw Jared Wilson with the first catch, and then Messer right there. It seems like they're going to be a big part of this offense. Jared Wilson, I know that FAU has a lot of promise for him because he, not only is he from Virginia, Power 4 program, but he's also 6'4", 212 pounds. He has a big body. And then, of course, you see Messer right there contributing right away because, of course, him and Belkamp has a connection from last season because they were teammates at Western Kentucky.
And that was an extra point for FAU. And with that, it was made by Garrison Smith, another new player for FAU, the redshirt senior. 7-0 Owls offense over the defense.
Yeah, you saw those kind of plays a lot with Belkamp last year where you would, fake the run or it'd be like a little option play, and then boom, he would find like Messer, for example, right up the middle on that slant, and then Messer would go all the way to the touchdown or make a huge gain. That's kind of Belkamp's game, and FAU is probably very excited to see what him and Kittley can do in this air raid offense.
New quarterback, that's Magwood, the freshman, rolls to his right and a quick throw, dime to the receiver, Jabari Smith. And that is a 6-yard gain. The ball now on the 29-yard line off the left side of the offense. I'm moving from left to right. New quarterback in. It's the freshman Jordan Magwood from Tampa, Florida. 2 receivers to his left, 1 to his right. Running back to his right. Take a snap. Throws down the middle. And a good catch by Jay-Sean Platt, the veteran in the receiver room for the Owls. 6:27 to go. Owls going quick tempo. Handoff. And immediately stopped by number 92 on the Owls defense, Kiermar Richardson, and just stops the running back number 25, Xavier Terrell, in his tracks. Terrell subs out of the game with Assad Wasim. So now Wasim is on the field, empty backfield, 3 receivers to his right, 2 to his left. Check that, 2 to his right, 3 to his left. Magwood with an empty backfield. Takes a snap, looks left, throws to Smith. And he gets wrestled over by the Owls defense off to the far side of the field. That'll be about a 2-yard gain, 5:30 to go and counting.
We have Jordan Magwood showing some promise. He led Carrollwood Dave to the district championship, threw for over 2,000 yards, 22 touchdowns. He also had 234 yards and 3 touchdowns on the ground.
Ball at the 47-yard line. Receiver to his left, 3 stacked onto the right. Magwood looks left, and out of the hands of his receiver, Platt, and a diving scoop by number 21 for FAU defense, Antonio Smith. First turnover. And with that, that'll be 6 points for the defense. It'll be 7-6 right now with an interception from Antonio Smith.
With a lot of the players leaving to either transferring or declaring for the NFL draft, like Day Hill and Kazir Brown and Jackson Ambush, all of them leaving. One of the biggest questions is, how is this defense going to really improve next season, and who's going to step up in place of those guys? And of course, we see Antonio Smith right there grabbing that interception off the deflection. So it's really exciting to see that these young defensive players stepping up.
And Belkamp back behind center. Receiver to his left and right. Hands the ball off. Fakes it. And almost into the hands of number 22, Lawrence Johnson. So it was the first turnover was by number 21, Antonio Smith. Then almost it looked like the second turnover was going to be over to number 22, Antonio Smith. Almost a turnover, and that would have had the defense leading the offense. 4:56, second and 10, ball on the 44-yard line. Offense moving right to left. 2 receivers to his left, 2 to his right. Belkamp takes a snap, looks right, throws into the direction, and overshots his receiver. Looks like that was to number, I believe, it was over to number, I believe, 13. So that would have been Martavius Collins.
On that first play that was almost picked off, Velkamp looked like he took a little bit too long to decide whether to give it to the running back or to throw it. And that throw was also very late.
Velkamp with the snap, pocket collapsing, and August Salvati has gotten to the quarterback. And that'll be another 4th down by the defense. So now be a punt return into the direction of Easton Messer, who's on the now in the middle over at the 20-yard line. So Salmon will be punting from right to left with 4:04 to go here in the first quarter of the spring game. Sales and another fair catch by Easton Messer at the 11-yard line. And Morgan, we were discussing this a little bit earlier, where looking at the turf, there seems to be some open areas, like some open areas of dirt. Wondering how that might impact the players' safety as well as the players' performance on the field, say, in their spring game.
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of white spots on the field. You got some at the 35-yard line. And then you have some at the back, one of the end zones on the goal line. You have a lot of white spots there too as well. But this is, it's spring football. There's, they don't usually keep the field ready for games because there is no games. So it'll probably become better, of course, by the fall.
Deep in their own territory at the 10-yard line. It's now Kason Wiseman with fakes a handoff, takes it, goes down the middle, and that'll be believe a first down, 3:45 to go, and counting in the first quarter. Track that now, first down, the ball will be placed at the 12-yard line off to the left side of the field.
A little short from where he probably would be in a real game.
When he took off, because they want to protect the quarterbacks, they didn't allow him to run too far because they didn't want the defensive players to hit him. Wiseman looks right and almost into the hands of the defender. That was into the direction of Platt. and looked like it might have been it was in the direction of, I'm trying to see who that defender was. Looks like possibly number 18, Zion Perret. 3 to his right. Check that. 3 to his left. Wiseman. And pocket almost pocket collapses. And he is stopped by Najan Barber, the defensive lineman. Another turnover by the FAU defense.
The Owls' defense has been feasting all day. Besides that Messer touchdown, they've been getting to the quarterback, and they've been getting stopping the run against Xavier Terrell, Sands. So the defense is really showing out in the spring practice so far.
Defense looking strong as Saman punts the ball deep in the red zone, and the ball just rolls out at the 47-yard line, 2:25 to go. And there's a lot of upside with how this defense has played. Obviously, that interception from a tipped pass by Antonio Smith with the recovery, and now with Najan Barber getting that sack. I mean, this defense looking very strong. Now you have to think, how well does the offense play out? Because we know last year the offense has looked good. The defense has looked very good for FAU, while the offense has been struggling. They have some of their good days, but a lot of bad days. And Velkamp back behind center with 2 to his left, 1 to his right. Ball on the 45-yard line, moving from right to left. Hands the ball off. Runner runs to the left, and a flag called. That was ball handed off to Jamari Sands once again.
There's the running game not really working once again, and now there's a foul, and it seems like they're moving it back. So it's going to be a second or first and long.
Ball is now placed on the 45-yard line on the right side of the 50-yard line. So a 10-yard loss. Well, a loss of 10 yards. Velkamp takes a handoff, throws to his receiver. That is Smith. That is Young. And about a 3-yard gain. Check that was Jabari Smith who made that catch. Jabari Smith has been seems to be like the top receiver, top target for Velkamp. You would think it would be Easton Messer. Messer did, though, get that opening touchdown for the offense early in this first quarter. 1:34 to go and counting. 3 to his left, 1 to his right. Velkamp with a snap, steps back, looks right, throws, and just too far out of reach for his receiver. Another good coverage by the secondary. Trying to see on who that was intended to. That is number 19, Dominique Henry.
Speaking about Jabari Smith real quick, last year, even though he was just a freshman, he was one of the top receivers on the team with almost 300 yards, and he had 3 touchdowns. He was third on the lead in the team in both of those categories. So it's going to be very interesting to see what he can do his second year.
Velkamp rolls to his right with the pocket collapsing, and he just takes it for a first down out of bounds at the 44-yard line on the left side of the 50-yard line. It'll be a first down, 1:06 to go and counting. And actually, I believe it was just too short, I guess, because Messer is now off to the left side, off to the left part of the field, left part of the hash marks at the 6-yard line. So it'll be another punt for Salmon. This punt is up and away. Another fair catch by Messer as one of the Owls players falls down on the ground. Be a catch interference. on, I do believe, Jay-Sean Platt. 23 seconds to go.
Yeah, he seemed to trip over Messer right there at the end, and you can see the refs are calling that every single time. So, and then that last run with Veldkamp, he was a little bit short of the first down, of course, but you saw that a lot at Western Kentucky. He can run, and the Hilltoppers weren't afraid to use him with designed runs and options and things like that. So it's good to see that happen in this game, and it's probably going to be a part of the offense for next season.
Jordan Magwood back behind center for the Owls. Their offense went from left to right. Ball at the 22-yard line. And the two receivers to his right, one to his left. Jamari Sands to his left, to his right. High pass, high snap, hands it, and down the middle. Check that, be Xavier Terrell down the middle for a 7-yard gain at the 30-yard line with 10 seconds to go and counting. And it seems like the offense will be just running the clock down. 2-1-0. That's the end of the first quarter for you. And we don't have the StatCast with us for this game. We're trying to keep notes down for the track. The scoring, I do believe, though, it is 7-6 with the offense in the lead. When we return, we'll be in the second quarter. You're listening to FAU Owl Radio on YouTube. Back here on FAU Owl Radio on YouTube, Maddox, Greenberg, Morgan Larkins, and Jordan Magwood for the Owls offense with the ball. Fakes a handoff, throws to his left in the direction, and a great catch by number 9, Caleb Coombs. And a ridiculous catch contested against the safety for FAU. That is Antonio Smith, who already had an interception earlier today.
That ball was slightly underthrown. It could have been a little bit better. He could have let him a little bit more, but that was still a great catch by Caleb Combs, and you got to trust your receiver in those situations.
Ball now at the 39-yard line. The offense moving from right to left. Spring Game Owls offense in red. Owls defense in white. Magwood rolls right, throws to his running back as Terrell, and gets to the 33-yard line for another big gain of about 7. Check that 6-yard gain. With the Spring Game as the offense versus the defense. Quarterbacks in black, offense in red, defense in white. Magwood, the freshman quarterback from Tampa. 2 receivers to his left, 1 to his right. Hands the ball off to Terrell. Terrell tries to find an opening over to the left side, the hash marks, and gets the ball over to the 31-yard line, so a 2-yard gain with 13:30 to go in the second quarter. First 3 quarters, no score kept. In the fourth final quarter, offense versus defense in the red zone lockout. Scoring system there will be a scoring system actually for them.
Magwood is besides Veltkamp, Magwood's the first quarterback to start moving the ball a little bit more. So I can't wait to see what he can do on this drive.
2 to his left, 2 to his right. Running back Terrell off to his right. Fakes a handoff. Magwood takes it. He finds an opening, and the refs blow the whistle. That'll be a first down, I do recall. 12:45 to go.
Because they, in a real game, I wonder what would happen. I wonder if that defender, if he would shed that tackle, but they decided to stop as soon as he met the first defender, so it's actually going to be about a 4-yard gain instead of a first down.
That won't be a first down, it'll be a ball on the 25-yard line. Magwood, quick snap throw to his receiver, and a good tackle by number 12, Goggins, with the tackle to number 11, Assad Wasim, the Colorado transfer.
Wasim was in a very crowded wide receiver room last year. You got Jimmy Horn, LeJontay Wester, then, of course, Travis Hunter. So, but he was highly touted. He was a 3-star, and he's a Power 5 conference talented player. Let's see what he can do in this offense.
Magwood fakes a handoff, looks left, and just out of the hands is a diving catch by Jabari Smith. And he tells his quarterback, "Hey, I need to move it a little bit in my favor." That was a little bit too far out of reach for me.
Yeah.
Try to make a diving catch. The ball was ahead of him.
And Magwood knew immediately. He pointed to himself. And he was like, my bad, it's my fault. That was a slightly outside, more outside than he wanted.
With an empty backfield, 11:10 to go and counting. 2 to his left, 3 to his right. In the shotgun formation, Magwood takes a snap. Quick throw to his right and into the hands of his receiver, Jabari Smith, a very popular name for all the different quarterbacks on this offense for FAU and the Owls offense. Moving down the field in swift fashion, ball on the 10-yard line, 10 yards away from the end zone.
You can already see the difference between this year and last year's offense with these very quick passes and designed passes to short routes, quick passes, and right here, Magwood's going to get the touchdown with a run to the left. But this is very impressive to see here that the offense is rolling like this.
And they ruled that he was tackled. Can't actually physically tackle the quarterback, including in a spring game. So with 10 minutes to go, ball on the 3-yard line, and Zach Kittley, coming in from Texas Tech, had one of the best offenses in all of the nation. He has developed quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes and Bailey Zappi, both in the NFL. And Kittley said during the offseason that they're going to have a high-powered offense, but also, most importantly, the best players will be on special teams, which something that a lot of head coaches really don't hear many head coaches saying that in college football. So it'll be interesting to see how they separate themselves and seeing which players today stand out to Kittley and how Kittley will create his offense, how he will build his offense around them. With Magwood, with 1 to his left, 1 to his right, 3 sacks on top of each other in the middle, and trying to go for a corner, right corner touchdown pass to Jay-Sean Platt, but over his head as he was defended by Cameron Goggins. So remains ball on the 3-yard line. Check that ball on the 2-yard line. Magwood, 1 to his left, 1 to his right. 2 onto the left side of the offensive line, and running back Terrell off to his left. Magwood hands the ball off to Terrell. Terrell easily waltzes up the middle for another touchdown for the FAU offense. 8:24 to go and counting as the Owls offense finds the end zone again.
Xavier Terrell is an exciting name for the FAU Owls. Last year, he only had 14 attempts, but in those 14 attempts, 261 yards and 3 touchdowns. Very impressive, and will probably have a big role this next season.
Logan Lupo, the veteran kicker, been on the Owls offense on the Owls roster the past couple of years, and the Louisville transfer up down the middle and gets the extra point. 7:44 to go and counting. The offense showing a lot of good signs, trying to diversify with who catches the ball and just switching between. There's actually been more pass plays and run plays, something we haven't seen from last year. Last year it was more offense, more run heavy. They had one of running back, C.J. Campbell Jr., who's now off to, I believe, Nebraska. So they were more of a run-heavy offense, but Kittley's changing up. Like, we're going to be a more pass-heavy offense. We're seeing that tonight as Kason Wiseman be quarterbacking for the Owls offense, going from left to right, ball on the 25-yard line. Wiseman, he snap, check that beat. Veldkamp throws into the direction, off to the left side, caught by number 19, Dominique Henry. So it actually be Veldkamp behind center on this drive. 6:24 to go. Veldkamp fakes a handoff, looks left, back into the direction, off to the left side to J.R. Wilson. That'll be a first down for the Owls offense. 6:06 to go.
Yeah, you're already seeing the effectiveness of Kittley's offense right here. Those quick, fast passes, fast decision-making by the quarterback. It's really showing off right here for the last couple of drives.
And another flag called by the official. Be a false start on the offense.
Magwood last year, the last drive, my apologies, the true freshman looked really good in that drive. Although he, overthrew a couple of times, like that 50-50 ball with Platt, and Jabari Smith overthrew him on the out route. He looked really promising, and he's just a freshman.
Two to his left, two to his right, hands the ball off to his running back, and down the middle, Jamari Sands, the runner. Tackled by Kyle Boylston, who is also on the baseball team for FAU, a two-sport athlete. He played a couple of games for the FAU baseball team, looking very promising. The redshirt freshman made the tackle. Veldkamp rolls to his right, and a nice juke against the defender, number 9, I do believe, Najon Barber. And another positive gain for the Owls offense. Ball now on the 42-yard line on the right side of the midfield. Empty backfield, 2 to his left, 3 to his right. Throws down the middle, going for a drag route into the hands of Martavius Collins, but could not hold it. And that was defended by Leon Hart Jr., the linebacker. 3:44 to go and counting. I got 3 receivers stacked to his left, 2 to his right. Again, empty backfield for Veldkamp. And the blitz Velkamp rolls right into and throws it to the hands of Easton Messer, his Western Kentucky teammate. 3:09, and be a first down for the FAU Owls offense.
That was great to see. He didn't get nervous about the pressure at all, even though there was a blitz, and even though there's somebody right in the backfield with him, a defender right in the backfield with him. He made a very quick decision, find Messer right open for the first down.
And Velkamp hands the ball off to Jamari Sands, runs to his left, down the middle, gets the first down. 2:38 to go now.
Now we're starting to see the Owls' running game really start to get going here.
Fakes a handoff, throws into the right side to the hands of Caleb Combs. Check that, Dominique Henry. Another first down. So now we're seeing a lot of huge passing. Very good drive by the Owls offense. They're running down the field. Now, after about 6 or 7 plays, they are in the red zone territory. The ball on the 14-yard line. Velkamp takes a snap, looks right, and a great toe drag swag.
He dropped it.
And unfortunately, it was not completed.
Yeah, this Owls offense is, they've been able to run the ball a little bit better because they've, pass. Of course, the defense is going to get used to that. They're going to ease up on that running defense. And then, of course, when they start running the ball, they're going to start getting going. So it's all about balance, and they're doing a really good job at this drive. That
pass was intended to Martavius Collins. 2 to his left, 1 to his right. Running back, that's Sands. To his right, Velkamp hands it off to Terrell. Terrell runs right, and runs off, loses ball, fumble, and recovered. Recovered by the 2-4 athlete, Kyle Boylston. Turnover for the FAU defense with 50 seconds to go.
As soon as the running game started looking good, right there you see the defense clamping down and causing a turnover, which is what you want to see in these situations where their other offense, the opponent's offense, is close to the end zone.
And good to see some upside from the freshman freshman Boylston, 6 foot, 185 pound safety, or the Owls now going from right to left with about 15 seconds remaining in the first half. It's Kason Wisen. Fakes a handoff. Rolls right and takes the ball for a positive 3-yard gain. And that ends the first half. We'll take a little break here. When we return, the Owls offense versus defense in the spring game will be in the third quarter when we return in about 5 minutes here on FAU Owl Radio on YouTube. Valentino.
Welcome back, everybody. This is going to be the third quarter for the FAU spring football game. And we have Velkamp, who throws the ball to Jabari Smith, and he's going to go down the left sideline, and he will get dragged down at the 10-yard line. Wow, what a throw and catch by this Owls offense.
And Jaheim Miller made that stop. Otherwise, that receiver would have been able to go all the way.
And check that. It was not Velkamp. It's actually Michael Valentino, the redshirt freshman. All right, they're in shotgun formation. Snaps the ball. He throws the ball to Jabari Smith, and he overthrew him just a little bit. He wish he could take that one back. But yes, to talk about something else for a little bit, the linebackers for FAU, they're going to have a big, they're going to have to step up for the next season because Jackson Ambush, arguably one of the captains and best players on the defense last season, is going to, declared for the NFL draft. So what do you think about the transfers Leon Hart and Tyler Stolsky for this upcoming season?
Well, I'm really interested in Tyler Stolsky. Actually, I told you before the game started that I wrote down on my notes app who I predicted will be in the starting lineup, and I'll see after this game's over who I think if there's any changes to that. But Tyler Stolsky, the transfer from Minnesota, played 24 games in his career, had 33 tackles, 2.5 tackles for loss, 1 sack, and 1 pass defense. That's a really good stat line to work with. If you're Brett Dewhurst, the defensive coordinator for the FAU Owls. And that was a pass actually down the middle out of the hands of the receiver. So it's a 2nd and 8, I believe, with 14:11 to go.
Tyler Stolsky was the one responsible for that forced fumble on the other side near the red zone. My apologies. On the last drive, right before the second quarter ended.
Yeah, they had those 2 big name players on the line at the linebacker position, in, like I said, Jackson Ambush, but also Jared Gerals.
Yes.
And they both are no longer with the FAU Owls, so that's one position that they have to fill up.
Valentino throws the ball, and he finds his man, Jabari Smith, for the touchdown on the slant.
Actually, that was Michael Calix, the freshman.
Michael Calix, the freshman, 6'4", 200 pounds. Another big-bodied receiver for the FAU Owls' young wide receiver core.
And receiver is another position that the Owls really need to fill up. And as we were mentioning before the game started, how Easton Messer coming into the game, or coming to FAU, most likely will be their top receiver because the starting quarterback for Western Kentucky, who Western Kentucky played against James Madison in the Boca Raton Bowl in this very stadium late last year. With Velkamp now coming to FAU as a starting quarterback, then comes along his number 2 receiver on his offense. You almost guarantee he'll be the new top receiver. And that was something that the Owls desperately needed. They really didn't know who would be the number 1 receiver that they will have. They had that luxury with LeJonte Wester before he went to Colorado, where he was that top guy that everyone, the opponents and the FAU team knew was the top receiver. And so now having to try to figure out who's going to step up and be that the wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, those consistent playmakers in the receiver core is very big.
Now we're back with some more spring football here in Boca Raton. 14 minutes left at the 25-yard line, and that run went nowhere, got stuffed by the defense. I believe that is Carson Kruver out right now, the redshirt sophomore. It's going to be interesting to see what he can do with his first snaps of the game. He hands the ball off and doesn't really go anywhere again. That might be a loss of 1, actually.
That previous run play was stopped by Tycool Hill Lumen. Him and his brother Tyclin Lumen, both transfers from Rutgers, both from Montreal, Quebec, Canada, redshirt freshmen. And they both didn't have any playing time over at Rutgers in New Jersey, so they come over here to sunny Boca Raton.
Throws the ball on the outside. Ooh, but he can't find his target, and that's going to be 3rd and long.
Jade Card, the freshman receiver, that pass was intended for. He just hit his head on both of his hands on his helmet. Said, "Man, I gotta do it. Gotta be better next time." I didn't catch that because you're also auditioning for your coaching staff. Let them know, hey, in this kind of like a one-on-one scrimmage with offense versus defense, I want to prove how well I am. That I want to get that starting job once August 30th rolls around, as they are on the road against Maryland. And we'll go a little bit into the schedule a little bit later on in the broadcast.
It's actually 4th and 11, so now the punting unit, the special teams unit is out, and punts it away to the returner, and he fair catches the ball, and the offense will now start on the 38-yard line.
Leon Washington Jr. with the fair catch. And interesting about Leon Washington Jr., he is the son of former Florida State standout, 4th rounder in the 2006 draft and a 2-time Pro Bowler, Leon Washington Sr. And also, get this, he is the brother of Lions defensive back Terrion Arnold.
What?
Yeah, exactly. And we were watching, right before we got to the stadium, we were watching a replay of the 2024 NFL draft, and that class is Terrion Arnold, who was drafted to the draft hosting Detroit Lions. Now with 12:50, the offense, of course, back on the field.
Groover surveying down the field, throws it to his outside, but that's picked off by the Owls defense. And wow, another great turnover by this defense.
Can't see who exactly made that interception, but I believe it might be number 25, Mike Wright, the third, a veteran in that backfield. And check that, it's not. It's number 32, Curtis Janvier, the senior redshirt freshman from Hollywood, Florida, made that pick. And, of course, Groover is kicking himself for that. I mean, that defender, Janvier, was literally right in front of Groover's intended target.
It looked like he was the receiver on that.
Exactly, yeah. So sometimes that's saying the quarterback doesn't see that defender coming, but that defender was right in front of your intended target. So I'm wondering how you missed that. I mean, again, could just be nerves, could just be early on in the season, because we're still, even though spring game is happening today, we're still in the transfer portal type realm. The official rosters will be penned in once the summer starts.
Valentino hands his back end for the Owls offense. He hands the ball off. And it's about a 6-yard gain towards the right. Now it's going to be at the opponent's 49-yard line.
And Lumen, again, I believe this was Tyclin Lumen, made that tackle. So the Lumen brothers showing off well.
Owls are in shotgun formation. Fakes the handoff. He has pressure early, and that's going to be a sack for the Owls defense. Wow, they've been on fire all day. They're crediting Josh Roberts with that sack.
Two Owls defenders in white just running towards Valentino in black, and that'd be ruled a sack. Again, for spring ball, you cannot hit the quarterback. Same goes for practice. You're not allowed to hit the quarterback.
Oh, wow. He almost caught that ball, but Valentino threw it, and that was, I believe that's that was number 83, Michael Calix. And he almost caught that ball, but he was rammed by the Owls defender.
That was by, I believe, number 35, Tito Nunez. I mean, it does say his number does say 36. There isn't a 36 on the team. but he made a great hit to that intended target for the Owls. Just caught himself off guard as well, as he was a little bit slow to get up.
Special teams is back on, and they punt it away to the returner, who fair catches the ball at the 8-yard line.
That was
Leon Washington Jr.
Yep.
We brought up his father earlier, and, Jets, Seahawks, and Titans had a very lengthy career. And now, of course, Terrion Arnold, which I didn't know. That's a very fun fact. He's been playing, he just got drafted last year to the Lions, and we'll see how he does on that. Obviously the Lions are a very successful team in the NFL. Now we have a lot of the, we're getting deep into the roster here with a lot of freshmen and sophomore that might not get a lot of playing time over the course of the regular season. Carson Krueger is back outside to see if he can make up for that interception that he threw a couple of drives earlier. The Owls are in shotgun formation, surveying the field. He throws and he finds his receiver on the outside for about a 5-yard gain.
I think it was back to Calix. And double coverage on Calix. A risky play to make for Krueger, but the pocket was collapsing a little bit, so he had to just roll to his left and just find the first player in red he sees.
It's going to be about 2nd down and 5. Back in shotgun formation. Snaps the ball. Quick throw to Jade Card, and he gets about 3 yards on that play. It's going to be 3rd and short. Tackled by the freshman Zion Parrott. Freshman on freshman action here. And the sun is setting now in paradise. We get this nice purple-blue sky right above the stadium. He's talking to his offense here, Krueger is. Snaps the ball, steps back, throws it down the field for a wide-open receiver, and he overthrew him. He was just a few feet out.
Leon Washington Jr. had an edge against those two defenders, one of them being number 27, Jaheim Miller, who also made a couple of plays earlier today. Another player in coverage was, I also believe, Curtis Janvier. Check that, not Janvier.
The special teams unit's back out to punt again, and of course there's Leon Washington there to return it. It's 9:18 left to go until we reach the last quarter. Ball's punted, and of course Washington calls for the fair catch. And the offense is now going to be placed at the 31-yard line.
Valentino, I do recall, is getting ready to carry the offense and just drive the ball down the field, try to get back into the end zone. I mean, they're not recording any score. They're not keeping track of any of the scores until the final quarter, which starts in about a little over 8 minutes from now.
Valentino's coming back out for the red team. Seeing a lot of spread offense right out here for the Kittley's Owls. And of course, this air raid offense has proven to be effective so far in this. With Veltkamp and Magwood, has been proven to be effective so far in this game. Let's see what more we can do for the final 8 minutes before the final quarter. The ball is handed off, and he gets stuffed towards the right, but he gets 3 yards before he is taken down.
Charquez Lee with that tackle. And also another veteran in that. Check out, not veteran, but he also had some playing, couple of games, saw some action in a couple of games for the Owls last season.
Owls snap the ball, throws it really quick to Clax, and he goes up the middle, and he gets enough for the first down. Maybe not. I think he's a few inches away from the first down marker. That's going to be third and very short.
Be third and inches at the 40-yard line. Still in the offense's 40-yard line, not in the opponent's territory yet. They're 10 yards shy of that 7-10 ago.
Valentino steps back, and they're not calling that a sack. Oh, they are. They are. He was... Lumen was going to get that tackle for that sack. He was wide. There was a big gaping hole for that defender to just rattle that Valentino. It is now second down and 13 on the red team's 38-yard line. It's empty back formation. Steps back, quick throw to his receiver. He catches the ball and gets dragged down after a 5-yard gain. It's going to be 3rd and 8 with a little bit over 6 minutes left.
The intended receiver was Caden Shields Dunn, stopped by 2 defenders, one of them being Antonio Smith, who caught that tipped pass in the first quarter.
Ball snapped. Valentino steps back. Gets some pressure again. He's able to throw the ball, and he finds his receiver down the right sideline. He's going all the way. That's a touchdown.
But there is some laundry on the field back to where the quarterback was. That'll be a penalty on the offense. Some holding. So they're heading backwards. That would not count. I mean, granted, it wasn't going to count because they're not keeping score, but if it did, it would not count as they're going backwards.
We saw some very good sack evasion there by the quarterback, and then finding his receiver down the right sideline. But of course, with the flag, that doesn't matter. Now got 5 minutes and counting. Now it's 3rd and 17 on the red team's 33-yard line. Checked at the 34-yard line. Snaps the ball, hands the ball off to his running back, and he gets up the middle. He gets tackled with about 4th and 8, so exactly where they were at in the last drive, or in the last play. Now 4th and 7, they're going to send the punting team back out again.
The runner was Joshua Harriet, the redshirt sophomore from St. Thomas Aquinas High School, redshirted his freshman year here for FAU. He's the nephew of former FAU running backs coach and a current St. Thomas head coach Roger Harriet. And there's a lot of St. Thomas players and Jones High School players on this FAU roster.
Salmon to punt the ball away. Leon Washington fair catches the ball at the 7-yard line. Let's see if the red team can put up one final drive before we head into the last quarter, where they do keep the score.
I mean, there was that one drive a while ago where it looked very promising. It was before halftime, where a couple of run plays, a lot of passing plays, and again, that's something that is a little bit unorthodox because we haven't really seen that last season under Coach Herman. It was more of a run-based play, while under Kittley it's been more passing play. So we saw a little bit of a sneak peek of what Kittley is intending for the Owls offense to look, but then end up resulting in a turnover by the defense.
He gives the ball to his running back. He bounces to the left side, and he gets dragged down at the 15-yard line. It's now going to be 2nd and 3. Check that, 2nd and 4. Oh. Owls are in shotgun formation. Owls snap the ball. Throws it real quick. Oh, it's almost intercepted once again. That would have been Kruger's 2nd interception.
That was in the hands of Tito Nunez, the redshirt freshman linebacker. He had it in his grasps, but just couldn't haul it in.
Yeah, before the halftime, that was Tyler Stolsky who forced the fumble on Jamari Sands to stop that offense from driving down the field. And then in this quarter, it's been all defense since. There's a penalty on the offense, so they're going back 5 yards at the 10. Now it's going to be 3rd and 8. Gruber, shotgun formation, snaps the ball, steps back, surveying the field. He's going to run out to the left. Oh, but they're calling a sack. So that's going to be a sack for about 3 yards. Check that. Sack for 5 yards. Now the special teams unit is going to come out and punt here. And the punter, Salmon's deep into his own end zone. I got Leon Washington Jr. at the 50-yard line awaiting the punt.
Salmon is right at the edge of the end zone, while Washington Jr. is at the midfield.
Washington calls for the fair catch at the 46-yard line. And let's see if the Owls red team has anything to go for the last 30 seconds. But they may let this clock run out to go into the final quarter.
With the final quarter, it'll be a red zone lockout, so both teams will be in the red zone. There'll be a scoring system. It'll be touchdown, 6 points for the offense. Made field goal, 3 points for the offense, 4 for the defense. A turnover on downs, or a missed field goal will be 6 points for the defense. First team to 18 points is the winner. There'll be no clock. There'll be no clock at all in this game in the final quarter.
We're going to run, I think, one last play before the quarter ends. Snaps the ball. Valentino steps back, surveys the field, throws it down deep, and almost finds Leon Washington Jr., but overthrew him a little bit. And now we're heading into the final quarter of this spring football game. Before we head into the final quarter, Maddox, who do you think has been, who's stood out to you for both sides of the ball?
Oof. I think for offense, probably Jabari Smith, him being a key weapon for the variety of different quarterbacks in the first half at least. Kind of stood out. I really didn't see him as a player to look out for. But I feel like he's been making pretty much of a name for himself. And we'll start seeing that in this final quarter where everything's now being credited for touchdowns and whatnot. So we'll start seeing how well he plays. And for defense, I mean, the past couple of drives, I mean, the Lumen brothers, Tycool Hill Lumen and Tyclin Lumen, both made pretty good, solid plays. I mean, also Antonio Smith in the secondary, too, catching an interception, breaking a couple of passes. I mean, he's also been proven to be pretty good on the defensive side in the secondary position as well. Even though I did put, even though I did not put him down, I'll probably put him down after this game, Antonio Smith over Antonio Robinson, for a projection of the 2025 football roster. Just seeing how well he played, but also again, the Lumen brothers looked pretty good in the defensive side, at the defensive front. And now we're also, again, just seeing, like, for the offensive core, who will be those top receivers to look out for, who will Veldkamp look to on the start of the game, against Maryland, which actually we could transition this to talk about the upcoming schedule. So on August 30th, on Saturday, Owls will be on the road to College Park, Maryland, to play against Maryland. Then on September 6th, they'll play again their first home game against Florida A&M. Then on the road again to play FIU on September 13th in the Shula Bowl. Then their conference play starts. Home game against Memphis. Memphis play a bowl game against West Virginia. They look in the Duke's Mayo Bowl. Memphis had a lot of good players that looked very good last year. See how that transitions into this upcoming year. Then October 4th on the road against Rice. Then home against UAB on October 11th. Then 2 road stints on the road against USF and then on the road against Navy. Navy also was very good last year. Then home against Tulsa on November 8th. November 15th on the road against Tulane. The end of the year, back-to-back home games, November 22nd against Connecticut and November 29th against East Carolina.
Now they started the quarter. This is going to be a quarter where they count the points. And first team to 18 wins. Veltkamp finds Platt for the 9-yard reception. It's now going to be 2nd and 1, and they are officially in white team's territory. 2nd down and 2. Check that. Easton Messer's also been a big name today. Multiple catches, but the big one is the 65-yard touchdown. And they hand the ball off to Xavier Terrell, who is going to get the first down, about a 2-yard gain. Right now, I think it's very interesting to see who's running with Veltkamp. Of course, you got Xavier Terrell, which will be rotating in and out with Jamari Sands, but you have J.R. Wilson, Easton Messer, and then Jayshon Platt. Snaps the ball. He throws it quick to J.R. Wilson, but J.R. Wilson does not catch the ball. Seemed to be out of his hands, a little bit over him. It's going to be 2nd and 10.
That was good coverage by Cameron Goggins, from the transfer from Georgia Military College in his sophomore year at FAU.
Asawa Seam is coming in. Now they're running 3 wide receivers on the left side. Fakes the handoff. He throws it quickly to Easton Messer, but he gets he drops the ball with tight coverage by the Owls defense.
Lawrence Johnson got in there and broke that pass up. Now 3rd and 10. Ball on the 15.
You can really see that they're trying to, pass this ball a lot in this air raid offense. Wondering if they're going to run the ball on future drives. Snaps the ball. He steps back, surveying the field. He finds Easton Messer on the outs route. He sheds a tackle, and he gets dragged down at the 1-yard line.
Another good stop by Goggins. Ball at the 1. That'd be a first down as well.
That's Veltkamp's probably favorite connection, Easton Messer. Last year, of course, he had over 700 yards for Western Kentucky and was a big part of why Veltkamp won Conference USA Offensive Player of the Year. But Easton Messer actually steps out for this play.
And very tight coverage all at the middle of the pile.
He hands the ball off. No, he doesn't. He throws the slant, but it bounces off the receiver's hands, and that's going to be 2nd and 1. It bounced off of Platt's hands. Seemed to be open. Let's see what the red team does on this next play. Again, the quarterback, Veltkamp, is in the shotgun formation. Not under center. Snaps the ball. He hands it off to Terrell, and Terrell is pushing, and they're saying he's down at the 1. He got stuffed at the line of scrimmage.
Great stop by that defensive front. for the Owls.
It is now 3rd and 1. Can this Owls defense stop the red team?
If they don't, and if it becomes a turnover on downs, it'll be 6 points rewarded for the defense. If the Owls get in the end zone, it'll be 6 for the offense.
Easton Messer is back in. They hand the ball off back to Terrell, who gets stuffed once again. That's going to be a tackle for a loss. Now it's going to be 4th and 2.
Yep.
Now it's going to be 4th and 2. They have one more chance to score right here.
Manager Zach Kittley, an offensive-minded head coach, wanting to bring in a flashy type of offense that the Owls haven't seen last year. You're kind of worried in a way. I mean, on the one hand, you're glad seeing how well your defense is playing, but also for your offense, you want to see how well this playing style works up against other defenses.
It's 4th and 2 on the 2-yard line. Velkamp snaps the ball, fakes it. He throws a 50-50 ball, and he just was tightly covered. That's going to be turnover on downs, which is going to be 6 points for the defense.
And that was Goggins again. Goggins playing a great 4th quarter, and that's now 6 points up for the defense.
You have to wonder if maybe they should have run the ball a couple more times before getting to that. But at the same time, though, actually, the Owls defense was stuffing the run. So really just a great effort by the defense to stop the offense from scoring. No matter what they did, they were covering them when he passed, and they were stuffing him when they ran. All right. On the 25-yard line, red team's back out. Snaps the ball. Fakes the handoff. He's already in the field. He throws it, and that's going to be a holding on Goggins.
Should that be on Zion?
Oh, that's Zion. Correct. Gotcha. The jerseys are rolled up, so from up here, you can't see the bottom half of a lot of players' jerseys. Wiseman is out for quarterback. They've got Jamari Sands as well. Assad Wasim. Jabari Smith on the right side. He snaps the ball. He gives the handoff to Sands. Sands rolls up to the left, and he gets tackled after getting a gain of 6 or 7. It's going to be 2nd down. The ball is on the 18-yard line. And shotgun formation. He snaps the ball. Rolls out to his right. He's trying to find somebody, but he can't, and he throws it out of bounds.
Again, trying to find one of his receivers.
Tightly covered by this Owls defense, who's been really playing well all day.
Trying to find Caleb Coombs, but again, 3 defenders in Coombs' territory. So, not really understanding the whole psyche behind that, behind Wiseman and why he wanted to throw in that direction. Again, I understand the pressure is coming at you, but trying to throw in the direction of 3 players is not really a wise decision for Wiseman.
Owls are now in an empty back set. Snaps the ball. He steps back. He quickly throws it, but it is batted down by the Owls defense.
Another deflection intended for Cam Bell, the tight end from Georgia Military, from Leesburg, Georgia.
Seems like the field goal unit's coming out. See if they can get some points on the board.
If the Owls so for 3 points for the offense, if they make a field goal.
Garrison Smith has a 37-yard field goal. Ball snapped. He kicks. And it's good. From 37 yards out, that's Garrison Smith. So the offense gets 3 points.
And the defense will also get 4 points, which is interesting.
Yep.
So now
it's 3-10. The defense is up right now. Let's see if they can switch things around with this next drive.
I wonder how this might impact some critics out there in the media, I guess, if there are any, or at least maybe start brewing some critiques about for Kittley's, of him bringing on this whole kind of him preaching this whole new exciting offense. And if the defense wins today, then really what does that say about his offense? I don't think really too much, again, like so early on, we're still ways away before the regular season starts. And I saw it's like we'll start tweaking his offensive game plan, but this will also get to show how his offense handles under pressure, as they say that down the middle from Velkamp to Messer, and now the hands of Messer. I think there's another problem you have to try to fix is we've seen a couple of different quarterbacks play, and each one throwing to different receivers, and a lot of those receivers keep dropping passes. So it's either is that the quarterback's problem? Is that on the wide receivers, on both, or is on both parties individually? So
Velkamp snaps the ball. It's a delayed handoff. Xavier Terrell gets the ball and he only gets about 3 yards. It's going to be 3rd and 7. The Owls' offense needs to get going to prevent the defense from getting 6 more points. Velkamp. 3rd down and 7 on the Owls' 22. He snaps the ball. He surveys. Throws the slant to Jabari Smith, and it is dropped. It was behind Jabari Smith, and he had it in his hands, but he dropped it.
Another drop pass by the receiving core. So, again, it's kind of questions of how good is this offense going to be. And I think that's another problem is that we're starting to see brewing here in this fourth quarter, which is a lot of receivers just aren't able to catch any of the passes, particularly from Velkamp.
Velkamp snaps the ball. He throws it to Messer. Messer continues to run. He tries to, and he jukes out a defender, and that's going to be a touchdown. Hey, it's been struggling, but that's why there are 4 downs instead of 3 for football. Velkamp finds Messer wide open in the middle.
And he stopped a stiff arm to Kyle Boylston. And Boylston, of course, football player, but also playing baseball for the FAU team. And he's not that used to having someone stiff arming him when he's on at plate. So he got kind of had to adjust himself after that. He was on the ground for a little bit, came back up. He was like shaking himself out, being like, "Okay, I wasn't too ready for that." But 10-9, and again, whoever wins 18 first wins the game. So now there's seeming to be some upside a little bit from this offense. There is some life with this offense. But I feel like this is going to be answering a lot of questions and starting also brewing some questions early on of if the defense wins today, what does that say about Kittley's offense?
Yeah.
What does it have to do with the whole problem right now with a lot of the receivers dropping passes? Is that on the receivers? Is that on the quarterback? What do they need to do? And then, of course, after the end of this, who do they might need to bring in from the portal? Who do they need to take? Who they might need to get rid of? Who do they need to move around? What do they need to do with different positions? Who stood out to them that they might want to put up on the starting lineup on August 30th?
Magwood on the 1st and 10 rolled to his right, and the receiver dropped the pass. So now it's 2nd and 10. On that last touchdown drive, we had, of course, that Messer and Velkamp connection,
which we saw on the opening drive of this spring game. It was about a 60 or so yard touchdown by Messer.
Magwood out there, controlling the offense now. Snaps the ball, fakes the handoff, and it's almost caught by his receiver, but that's going to be incomplete. It's going to be now 3rd and 10.
Another low pass to Jabari Smith. So again, another low pass by Magwood. Not a great completion, so you're going to have like Kittley's going to probably have to ask try to figure out what's wrong with his quarterbacks, I guess, in the way, because struggling a little bit with their passes, a couple low, a couple short, a couple were in front of the receivers. So they have to try to figure out that accuracy issue.
Magwood snaps the ball. He finds his running back up the middle. I believe that is Jamari Sands. It's going to be 4th and 1. Mike, check that. It is Xavier Terrell.
Now the Owls offense is able to get to the end zone again on a 4th and 2. They are able to do that from the 17-yard line. Go for a field goal, they win the game. So it also does show is how much pressure does the defense handle? How much pressure can the defense inflict, as well as how are they able to handle themselves under pressure?
Magwood was getting pressured, but he had an open lane, but instead of taking off and running for the first down, he decided to throw, and it was overthrown. It's going to now be 6 more points for the defense. It's now 9-16 for the Owls defense extending their lead.
How many times did we say the word pressure in that, 30 seconds? I want to say it's about 4 or 5. But yeah, that's what the whole point of this whole red zone lockout is to try to see how does the team look when the opposing teams are in the red zone. How well can the defense handle that, and what could the defense do in those critical situations? Vice versa, where how the offense can handle being in the red zone, going against a defense who has in their mind, okay, we gotta stop this team within 20 yards.
Veltkamp is now back out for this Owls offense.
He's also getting to prove how much of a leader he is with this new offense. Again, still very early on because season doesn't start until late August, but
hands the ball off to Xavier Terrell, who goes up to the right, and he gets about 3 to 4 yards. Now going to be 2nd and 7, 3-yard gain on the Owls' 22-yard line. Back in the shotgun formation. There is a flag on a play.
Going to be a false start.
Going to be a false start on the offense. They're moving back 5 yards. It's very key to get these get disciplined during the spring game in the offseason so that you're not pummeled with penalties during the regular season. Veltkamp in shotgun formation snaps the ball, fakes the handoff. He's surveying the field. He rolls to his right. He's going to run for it. He's going to run to the right sideline, and then he's going to run out of bounds.
Getting a little bit of taste of that Veltkamp mobility. Seeing the wheels on Veltkamp, but still short of the first down marker.
They're going to say it's 3rd and... they're going to say it's 3rd and 12. They're going to say that he got sacked. That's very interesting. They're going to say he got tackled before he made any progress. Veltkamp snaps the ball. Very quick slant to Assad Wasim, but he drops the pass. It's now going to be 4th and 12. This is the Owls defense chance to win the game and end the spring football game in paradise.
Again, but once again, different receivers dropping passes, and this is the same quarterback, Veltkamp. They keep the same rotation, about the same 2 or 3 guys during this whole red zone lockout, and so many different receivers are dropping the ball.
He snaps the ball, he throws it down, and it's going to be intercepted by the Owls defense, and that's going to be a win for the white team, the Owls defense.
And guess who did it? Kyle Boylston. Not only can he hit home runs, he can also catch interceptions. Defense wins it 22-9.
Owls offense may have to improve a lot of things going into this offseason and prior to the regular season.
I think what just stands out to me from that whole red zone lockout. One, obviously, a lot of different receivers are dropping the passes. So does that fall on either the quarterbacks or does that fall on the receivers or on both parties? So if Kittley has to figure out about that. The defense proving their worth throughout the entire spring game, but before that lockout, they proved that they can handle being pressure when the opposing team's offense is within 20 yards. Now, the offense, they have to figure out what they're going to do when they are within 20 yards of the red zone and how they're going to implement that passing offense that Kittley's been preaching about of him playing that air raid. Because could he look into the portal and try to find some guys left that could fit that mold, or maybe he could try to develop some of those current players on the roster in that receiving room.
The Owls defense wins 22-9 to close out the spring football game. So it's very impressive to see the defense stopping them on all levels. They're turning over the ball and stopping the run, and did pretty decent pressuring the quarterback as well. Of course, the offense also showed a lot of promise as well. That connection, Easton Messer and Veldkamp looked really good. And then, of course, J.R. Wilson and Jabari Smith also having some key moments in that game as well. But it's going to be very interesting to see what they do over the offseason to improve the offense and get it ready for regular season play.
I do agree with you, Morgan. Signing off, I'm Maddox, Greenberg, he's Morgan Larkins. Thank you for listening to FAU Owl Radio on YouTube. We will be back for football action on September 6th, Saturday, against Florida A&M for the home opener. Thank you for listening to FAU Owl Radio on YouTube. Have a good night, everybody.